How's it going, ugly people? This is Leader635 on Jimmy Master Animatronics, and today I'm gonna make a short review over this singing dancing donkey that I got last Sunday, and it had a bunch of issues. They were only two, but when I took it apart and everything, there were a couple of extra issues that I had to point out. But anyways, so as I said, got this in the fair in my school last Sunday. And the thing, first of all, it was grinding. The mouth was grinding like crazy. It couldn't even open properly. The eyes were completely dislocated, completely loose. And I could tell by the way it was moving that the bottom of the lever was broken for the up and down motion, because you know when you have the arms and everything, it sort of like twitches the arms instead of dancing. So it would basically do something like this. It would hardly move the arms, and of course the mouth would not even move. Now that is a warning sign. That's like, okay, something's wrong there. So after a few, after disassembling and everything, the first thing I fixed was the mouth, because it was the closest thing before I had to get any deeper. And the mouth mechanism has something pretty cool, aside from the fact it was broken. But there's the motor, there's the inside. Now the inside has these tiny holes here. These have to match with the what is it? With the front. There's a hole on each, on one side in the front. They have to match there. But at the same time, the eyes have one peg, which I don't think it's even noticeable. Why the hell didn't I show it? There's basically a small peg that you can see that's different when you turn the eyes. Yeah, by example, this. You turn the eyes and you see these lines, but at some given point, you're gonna see a peg. That peg has to be facing the center. With that facing the center, with this hole facing this hole, you have both eyes aligned. And the way it's assembled, it's just so fucking weird. It's because first you have to disassemble everything. You have to take these screws off. There's screws at the side, and there's screws at the back. There's 4 screws at the back on, 2 in each eye. Basically, what you do first, you take the back cover off, and you're left with the gear-driven eyes and the lever with the knob and everything that connects to the mouth mechanism. So that was actually completely dislocated. I don't even know why, but what else? Then of course you can slide the rest up because you took these side screws off. But you cannot take the eyes off until you have it like this. If you assemble it and everything, of course, if you assemble it, you can't. But the eyes go in. You slide them up. You slide them from vertically. So there's a peg over here that goes into this section, and basically these are for for the eye not to be loose or anything. These 2 holders here. As I said, it's a weird mechanism in general. It had these limits broken. That's why the eyes were completely dislocated and they did not even move or anything. Again, not even twitch, because these limits were actually broken off. So the eyes would spin loose, and they wouldn't have limit or anything. Now it's kind of tough to, align those eyes, aside from the fact, well then again, it's not tough, because the first time I aligned them, I didn't know about the marks it had and everything, so I assembled it, and they were kind of random. But then, what ended up happening was when I aligned the eyes the second time, and I knew about all of the things, it just worked like a charm. Anyways, we're gonna go with the reason why this thing was grinding and twitching when I first got it. Gummy gear. Completely fucked. Bottom section or top section, depending on how you see it. The top section of this gummy gear, which is the one that absorbs the sound, the noise pretty much, was destroyed. It was a 10-tooth gear, and this was a 30-tooth gear. So I went and I found out about this later, but I actually had an identical twin for it on plastic. So that's really good. Here's basically another thing. How do you count the teeth? I personally count them by 10 teeth. Let me explain how. You have the blue one, which is the very first tooth, and right after that, you're going to have 9 teeth, okay? You count this one. So you have 9 teeth, and then you have a black one. That is the first 10 teeth. Then from there, another 10 teeth, and then another 10 teeth until you're done with the... And of course, if it's not 30 teeth, by example, if it's 31, or if it's 30 something, you're gonna want to mark the ending with the same color as the beginning. That's basically how I personally do it. I'm not really, I have my ways, let's basically call it that way. But there was an issue with this gear. It was a little bit taller, so I had to sand it. And after 3 attempts, it worked. Here's the gear, even though it looks banter, it's not bent. It's just sanded. So here's the mechanism. Again, here's the pegs that I was talking about. You basically slide those from here, and then you put that on the back. The 3 limits, that thank goodness they were still there. They were still there. I don't even know how they were still there. So they were still there. Don't forget about that. They were still there. So I basically glued them back. I put baking soda as well to make sure that everything was going to stay there for good. And then I went to the mechanism. Now, in this case, I went full on lazy and I just didn't want to take the whole thing apart like I usually do. There's a zip tie at the bottom, which just like the wrap in rodents, it's from the inside. So you cannot access it through the outside. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say one thing. It had zip ties in the eyes, if you guys didn't notice. I had like these tiny zip ties, and as I didn't have the exact replacement, I used shorter ones combined. I literally had to glue them together. But yeah, that's anyway. Here's the chip, and I mainly took these pictures to make sure that I knew where the wires went, because what ended up happening later on was I had to resolder them. Of course, here's the bobbing mechanism, and as I said, the bottom part of the lever is destroyed, or was destroyed. So again, here's a few pictures of how the things, of how the wires were, so I soldered them. Here's how the thing was, and here's the lever itself. Now, I don't think I've ever fixed, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever, head bobbers. This was late 2017, and I don't really think Boba Monkey, Jemmy Gorilla. I don't really think there's been any head bobber that I have fixed from that issue ever with the baking soda trick. So this one takes the cake for that. Good for that one then. But as I said, this is the first one I implemented the baking soda trick on the thing. So first I glued it to make sure that everything was fine, and then I started with the baking soda. Again, it had a couple more layers than this, but you guys get the point. It was hard as a rock, so it's not gonna break anytime soon. Of course, right after that, a little test to make sure that everything was working, and yeah, the thing was working. Working like a charm. Now, one thing is, I have a feeling I know why the gear stripped into first place, and it's because the spring was tightened all the way. It was literally at the very first hole, and now I know there was a higher hole, a slightly bigger hole on the other side. Damn it, I didn't even take a picture. What the hell? Okay, whatever. So as I said, there was a slightly bigger, and of course these are the zip ties. There was a slightly bigger what? I actually forgot what the hell I was saying. Oh, fuck it. There was a slightly bigger hole in the side where you adjust the spring. And it was right at the middle of all the holes, basically. There were like either 4 or 6 holes, and then at the middle there was that one in between the 3 or the 2, depending. I think it was 2. So I put it there, and it works like a charm. I think it works even better than what it used to. I think that was the reason, as I said before, why it ended up stripping. It was just because the spring was too tight, and the thing would probably have been too pressured. But anyway, the thing works now. Everything works like a charm, and I have nothing else to do rather than show them the brand first of all, or what they claim to be the brand, which is Krea. So, without further ado, here we go. It just had the issue it had before, and that's the issue I was gonna fucking say. You son of a fucking bitch, fucking piece of shit donkey, you fucking fuck you and fuck your family, fuck your mother, fuck your father, fuck everything in your fucking family, you fucking piece of shit. That's fucking perfect. That was the fucking issue it had, and I have a feeling right now it's gonna be from the body. So, the issue it fucking had when it was, working and it wasn't done yet was that a wire came off. But the wire came off from the neck section because it was corroded in the middle of the wire. So I was like, okay, great. Thankfully, it's not from the bottom, but now I have a feeling it's from the fucking bottom. Seriously, fuck my life. I do a review over this thing. Almost the perfect activation, and the fucking thing just... God damn it. Wait a second. What the hell? That was a motor? How the fuck was that thing stuck? Okay. Let me get this straight. The thing got stuck? The thing got stuck after like 30 tests? This bloody thing got stuck after 30 tests. Or more, I don't fucking know. Well, at least it didn't break. But the thing is, let me see if I can find a picture of it to show exactly what it was. But as I said, I took this thing apart without a lot of, I didn't want to take it completely apart, so I had to crack open the mechanism by taking the top screws and loosening the bottom screws. But there's these two wires that go through what would be called the neck piece. What would be basically the piece that makes the arms move and everything, which is not this. It's an outer casing it has that protects this, and at the same time grabs onto the front and the back piece that make the arms go up and down and up and down. So over that, of course, you guys can see, as I said, the wires. There was a spot where it was bluish. The wire had a little blue stain, and I just didn't, I didn't think it was going to be something bad, but it actually was corrosion. The wire was corroded in the inside. Don't even ask me how the hell, but it was. So what happened was I was almost done with it. I was almost done stitching it and everything, and that wire breaks. And I got mad. I was like, I really hope it's not the wire from the bottom on the circuit board, because if I have to reach that, I'm going to have to take the whole thing apart again, and I don't want to do that. I didn't, one thing I know, and I'm going to acknowledge my mistake, I didn't secure the wires with hot glue, just because the gun wouldn't reach down there. But I really don't want those wires to come off anytime soon until any other issue happens. The gear splits or something, great. I'll go in it and I'll fix that. But I don't want to deal with that wire right now. The thing is done. I was kind of, there was a slight moment of silence when I was pissed, because I could notice that the voltage was dropping whenever the mouth was working. So I was like, wait, it's either in a short or it's actually connected and something's jammed. So thankfully it was just jammed or something. I'm not too sure about it.
you make me wanna from the rooftop all around now. I'll be coming through your town now. Merry Christmas, baby. Merry Christmas. Come on, don't forget to mail your cookies. I won't forget to bring all the presents to your house now. A little bit louder now. Merry Christmas 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 now. You know you make me wanna shout. Merry Christmas.
Alright, so that was the review over this dancing donkey. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.